Hi there, how are you? This is Loise Gidiga. Welcome back to my channel. I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant and I am based in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. If you're new here, welcome. For my usual followers, thank you so much for your support all the time. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. It's full of videos regarding Canadian immigration, a lot of information that you're going to find useful. Before you ask me a question on email, please go through my videos because I'm sure I have answered a lot of these questions on my videos. I have to give a disclaimer that the information I give on my channel is for your information purposes only. It should not be taken as legal advice. If you want legal advice, please reach out to me. If you have any question regarding your file, regarding your application, or you want me to help you with your application, you want me to help you immigrate to Canada, please send me an email and book a consultation, okay? All right, today I am talking about something interesting, something you want to listen to, and that is an open work permit. A lot of you send me emails asking me to talk about various subjects, so this is one of those, okay? So yeah, if you asked me to talk about open work permit, today is your lucky day, and 1,000 others who are going to benefit from this session. I just want to say, I have a few more disclaimers. My job, I do not place people in jobs. I am not a job recruiter. I am a consultant. I am an immigration consultant, independent immigration consultant, right? So I'm not a job recruiter. I do not place people, employees with employers. No, I don't do that. The jobs that I post on my social media, because I know I post a lot of jobs, those jobs are through immigration programs. Mostly they are through the rural northern immigration program. So you have to meet various eligibility factors for you to qualify for those jobs, okay? All right, I have always told you also that Canada, anything you're applying here, whether it's a work permit, whether it's a visitor visa, everything is merit-based. So you're going to meet a certain eligibility criteria for anything. So always make sure that you are checking whether you are eligible for something before you apply, and then you're just wasting time and money and a lot of years and hope. Please don't do that. Check your eligibility first. You know, you could be saving yourself a lot of heartache, a lot of money by checking your eligibility. I have a lot of people who also reach out to me and they're like, you know what, I applied for express entry. I paid someone like a crazy amount of money to apply for me express entry, and it's my third year, I haven't received any invitation. And I would look at it, if you come to me for eligibility, I'll be brutally honest with you. At times I'll tell you, please, this is not worth applying because you're just wasting your years, and the older you grow in the express entry, most likely you are just wasting your time. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about express entry. I was talking about eligibility. Make sure you're eligible for anything you're applying for. So we're going to see the eligibility criteria for open work permit today. A little bit about open work permits. For you to be able to work in Canada, if you're not a citizen or a permanent resident or a student, you will need a student in most cases, you will need a work permit, whether it's a closed work permit or an open work permit, because we have two main categories of work permits here in Canada. We have something called the open work permit, which we are discussing today, and a closed work permit, or an employer-specific work permit. That is the closed work permit, okay? There's a video coming up right after this that is talking about the closed work permit, just so you know how to get it and how to know if you're even eligible for it, okay? So, about open work permits, I want to just tell some people, because a lot of people send me also excuse me, a lot of people send me emails. They tell me someone is bringing me to Canada on a visitor visa and they'll get me an open work permit and I'm working for this company. And that right there is a big contradiction, because an open work permit allows a foreign national or a foreign worker to come to Canada, or whether you're in Canada, so it allows that foreign worker to come to Canada and work for any Canadian employer over a specified period of time. So this open work permit will not have an employer's name. If you have an open work permit with an employer's name, my friend, something is not looking good. And I must also give this disclaimer, because I am seeing a lot of emails and screenshots. People are sending me their work permits, you know, I don't know, their job offers, I don't know, they applied with this agent, and they're asking me, Loise, please check for me whether this is legit. There is no way I would know if something is legit, my friend, and that is not even in my purview. It is not my job to know who is legit out there and who is not. Canadian government can help you do that. I am going to be brutally honest with you. It is not my job. You know, I'm not policing anybody. I don't work with for Canadian immigration. I do not work for law enforcement. If you think someone is doing some fraudulent work, please report them to the RCMP, okay? Or report them to ICCRC or IRCC. But I am not that person. I cannot tell you if something is legit. If someone sends you something, if you engage somebody to do something for you, if you pay somebody, please do your due diligence. Do not put me in the mix. No, I refuse. Don't put me in the mix. No, no. I can only defend the things that I say in my videos. That is the only thing I can defend. I cannot defend things I didn't say. I also can't defend the things you wanted me to say, but I didn't say, okay? Yeah, so if I say something here, you can always ask me to defend it. Yes, I'll defend it with the law, with the right Immigration Act, because the information that I give you here, you can always find it in the Government of Canada website, the immigration website, okay? Anything else? As long as it's not under my license, I cannot. Please don't send me. Please refrain from sending me work permits and visas and all that, and you're asking me to check for you whether that is legit. I don't know, okay? Anyway, enough about that. So, open work permit. Can you actually get an open work permit? Yes, you can get an open work permit for Canada. But who gets an open work permit? Because again, we talked about eligibility, okay? Who gets an open work permit? Only a specified amount of people or number of people who can get this kind of work permit. Because again, as we said, it allows you to work for any employer, anywhere, anytime, okay? Actually, there are some open work permits which have restrictions. You can still work for any employer, but then those restrictions will be restricting you on the kind of work you would do or the place that you would work, okay? And a good example is someone maybe who has tuberculosis. So if you qualify for an open work permit, but then you have tuberculosis, they would have to put some restrictions on your work permit, that maybe you cannot work with this group of people, maybe you can't work with children, okay? So there are few restrictions. They are few, but they are there. But in general, an open work permit allows you to work for any employer, anywhere, anytime, as many employers. You can take as many shifts, you can do whatever you want. Okay, you can move from city to city, from province to province, as long as you have an open work permit. Okay, so again, who qualifies for this? Do you qualify? All right, I have 11 groups of people who actually would get, they would apply and obtain an open work permit here in Canada. And the first group is international students who have graduated, who have studied in Canada, and they have graduated, and guess what? They have qualified for the postgraduate work permit. I talked about this. Please look at that video to see your eligibility. So if you're getting a postgraduate work permit, that will be an open work permit, and you can work for any employer, basically. Okay. Number 2 is for destitute students. This is an interesting one, and a lot of people actually don't know that there's a class called destitute students. And these destitute students are people who came to Canada as international students, and something happens in their lives and they can no longer meet the costs of their studies. And it's very, very, very strict. It's not everybody. You can't come here and now all of a sudden you say, because you know, to come here as a student, you must show that you have enough money, you know, or you have access to money for your studies. So for you to fall under this destitute class, it would have to be something like, you know, you put your money was in an account, or maybe it was in a mutual fund account, in a GIC account somewhere, and the bank collapsed with your money, right? So now you don't have access to your money. So at that point, because you don't have access to your money and you still want to be a student, you can apply under a destitute student. Another example would be maybe your money was back in your country in an account somewhere, or even in Canada, who knows? Wherever your money is, maybe there is war. So in that case, if there is war, then you're not able to access your money, you can apply under a destitute student so that you get a work permit so that you can work and be able to pay for your studies. Okay? All right. Number 3, it's if you have an employer-specific work permit. So you're already in Canada, you have an employer-specific work permit, and guess what? You are being abused by that employer. So in that case, you can always apply for an open work permit under the vulnerable class. This is a class that was introduced, was it last year? Yes, I think last year. So you can always apply for that. Number 4, the 4th group is if you have already applied for a Canadian permanent residence. How is that? An example is you're already in Canada, you're a temporary foreign worker, and you've now you've applied for permanent residence under the express entry, or you're a caregiver, right? And you have met your eligibility, and now you can apply for permanent residence. Once you apply, at that point, then you can now apply for an open work permit while you're waiting for your PR to be processed. Okay? Yes, so that is the 4th category. Category number 5, if you are a dependent or a family member of someone who has applied for permanent residence in Canada. So that goes together with number 4 above. So if you're here, your family, the main applicant, you're a family member of the main applicant who has applied for PR, at that point you can apply for an open work permit as well. Number 6. This is a good one, and I'll make a certain video about this. So if you are a spouse or a common law partner of a skilled worker or an international student, yes. So if you come here as an international student, you're studying full-time, your spouse can apply for an open work permit. Okay? Yes, number 7. This is for spouses and or common law partners of people who have applied under the AIPP. And the AIPP, I mean the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. And this is a pilot program, just like the other pilot programs, that is focused in the Maritimes. That is in Eastern Canada, in the 4 provinces, the 4 maritime provinces, and that is Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, PEI, and Newfoundland and Labrador. So if you're a spouse of the people who've applied through that class, the AIPP, you can apply for an open work permit. Category number 8 is if you're a refugee or a refugee claimant or a protected person or their family and you're in Canada, then if you fall in those 4 categories, you can apply for an open work permit. So basically when you when you claim for refugees, later on you can apply for an open work permit, and you are able to work for anybody while you're waiting for your case to be heard. Okay? All right, category number 9 is if you are under an enforceable removal order. So this is when you are in Canada, they want to deport you, so they've given you a removal order, but because of other reasons, because of other circumstances, CBSA cannot remove you. Maybe where they should return you, there's a big war, or there's coronavirus, who knows, or there's something happening big out there that they may put you in danger. They may hold you here and not deport you back if they are deporting you to more danger. So in that case, they will keep you here. You have an unenforceable removal order. And because they do not want you to be destitute, they don't want you to be homeless, they also don't want you to depend on the social systems. So they'll give you an open work permit so that you can get a job and support yourself. Category number 10, we said we have 11 of them. So this is number 10, is if you are a temporary permit holder. Who is a temporary permit holder? You know, there's temporary permits and there's temporary visas. Those are two different. So a temporary permit holder is totally different. It's nothing near a temporary visa, okay? And temporary permits are actually given to people who are inadmissible to Canada. So maybe you had a minor infraction wherever, so you're criminally, you know, maybe you have a health issue, so you're not admissible health-wise, but they would need to get you to let you enter Canada irrespective of your inadmissibility. So they are issued to counter an inadmissibility, and this is they have to determine that your presence in Canada offers more economic benefit than the risk that you pose. Okay, so this will be like for celebrities. So you know, maybe a celebrity was caught with marijuana somewhere and they're coming here to perform a big gig, you know, like a big concert, and if they don't pose that much of a risk, they may be allowed, despite their inadmissibility, they would be allowed to apply for a temporary permit to allow them to enter Canada because because of the big economic benefit these people are bringing to Canada. Okay, all right, number 11, this is the last one. This is for the other people who can get an open work permit. Guess who? Young workers who are participating in special immigration programs through the international experience class. So what Canada does, Canada has liaised with other countries across the world to provide this class called the international experience class. So usually youth between 18 and 35 in Canada can go abroad and work. The same thing some countries, so for the countries that have this kind of an agreement, the youth can also come here to work. For example, they can come on working holidays. So maybe you've heard about working holiday visas, and I'll make a video about that class because it's a really interesting class that you should maybe try look at if you're under 35. So those people, when they come here, they would be able to get an open work permit. Okay, all right, those are the people who can get an open work permit. If you did not place yourself under any of those, my friend, please don't be cheated by somebody. Always check whether you're eligible. Always do your due diligence. As I said, check. If you have a doubt with something, please check. Always also check whether you're eligible for something, because everything has got its own eligibility, every class. All right, thank you so much for keeping it here. My next video, closed work permit. Thank you. Bye now.